Butterflies fill my spine, I feel myself getting hot again. Nerves rushing through my brain, yeah, they can't hear fire from the trees. You're standing by his side, red drops burning down your face. Getting real close now, baby. Holy fuck, I feel it with you. I lose self-control. Now I found that you're not one to hear me now. You got me on my knees begging for your lady. And like a fool to stand around and let you blame me. And I'm riding in the sky to the heavens like an
My name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, I got a very special guest, professional wrestler Kevin Gyles.
How you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. I wanted you on for a while now, so that's why I hit him up and said, hey, please,
Yeah, that's not a big deal, man.
That worked out good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get right into it. Where did you grow up?
Born and raised in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I've moved around a little bit, but I've primarily been in Manchester my whole life.
Okay. And when did you first see pro wrestling?
I was 5.
Wow. You said that like that, too, man. Like
So I'm a WCW kid. I was never a WWE, WWF kid until later on in life. My first exposure was a Thursday Night Thunder, Sting versus Diamond Dallas Page. I was 5 years old when that happened.
Wow.
That has been forever ingrained in my brain.
Nice.
So.
You know what I love about DDP? How he started wrestling so late and he still made it up to the tippy top, man.
Sting and Diamond Dallas Page are the two guys that I wish I could have been.
Right.
Just because without them, there is no me.
Right.
Realistically.
Right.
So
that's wild, though. 5 years old. I was 7. So finally, someone even longer than me. Were your friends or your family into it too?
my mother, yes. My father, no. I didn't have a lot of friends either growing up, which is why I got drawn to wrestling so hard.
Right.
It kind of made what could be considered a relatively crappy upbringing, and not saying like my parents are bad parents or anything like that. It's the thing that made the reality go away, which is important, I think.
Right.
So
absolutely. All right. Well, you already said it, but who were some of your favorites?
Sting, Diamond Dallas Page. When I got into WWE, The Undertaker, Kane.
The bigger guys.
Yeah. And it's weird because I loved Rey Mysterio. I remember watching when they unmasked Rey Mysterio in WCW. And it killed me as a child to see that.
I was an adult and it bothered me. Honest.
As I grew older, learning more about the business, you go, oh, that was disrespectful.
Right.
Especially when he debuted in the WWE under the mask again.
Right.
Which is something that's kind of unheard of. So it stems from like a lot of different things, depending on what I like, as far as like technical professional wrestling goes. It was always Dean Malenko. Right. I was a big Chris Jericho fan. Taker, Kane, Big Show, not so much.
Okay.
Then I grew up in an era of WCW that was during the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
So it was very
right up there.
So it was very, very attitude centric, very edgy. To which you could not get away with today.
No.
There is no way you can get away with that.
Absolutely not. One of my big memories from WCW was Rey Mysterio when Kevin Nash threw him into the side of the truck.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? Because it looked so real. Like, I don't know how you could, fake that bump.
To this day.
He whipped him.
To this day, I despise Hulk Hogan for a couple of different reasons. But watching him turn on Macho Man was really what sealed the deal for me on that.
Right. Now, that's wild. Now, can I ask you a question then? Because, everybody says, Hulk Hogan joining the NWO was a monumental, great thing. What do you feel about the John Cena thing then? Because a lot of people, myself included, think that was awesome.
I loved every second of it.
Right.
Because for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Just about that guy has been the guy.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the route he's taken, where he's not changed his character.
Right.
Because he hasn't.
Yeah.
He's just John Cena.
Yeah.
And he's right. What do we deserve? We deserve nothing from him.
Exactly.
That's a guy that has given everything to the business, and it sucks to see him go.
Right.
But he's going to go out his way.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for.
And I do love it. I can't wait till he wins it for the 17th time. And I always say this, that I really feel that the WWE wants him as the record holder, because Ric Flair wasn't always WWE. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's, for me, I was never a real big Ric Flair guy either, because, dastardly owner out of WCW. And he screwed Sting a lot, and it always bothered me. So to see somebody that has put the effort in, put the work in for 25 years to be the guy for 25 years.
And you're right, though, the guy.
He is.
Strap that company to your back and just take off.
The guy.
Yeah.
Like, there is Roman Reigns, great.
Yep.
But not the guy.
No, definitely not.
This generation's the guy, yes.
Yeah, right.
John Cena has been the guy for a few generations now.
Yeah. And his heel promos have been incredible to start the shows.
Just to show up and not say anything.
He's just been amazing, man.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
All right. When did you go to your first show?
This is going to sound blasphemous. My first show ever was a chaotic wrestling show in like 2011.
In Lowell?
Yeah.
PAV.
It wasn't even at the PAV. It might have been
the Elks.
It was either Woburn or Worcester. One of those two.
Okay, Woburn Elks for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. They ran there for years.
Yeah. My first exposure to like independent wrestling was a chaotic wrestling show. Then it became Beyond, it was Beyond Wrestling and things like that. My first WWE show did not happen until 2012.
Wow.
A SmackDown taping.
Okay. In Manchester?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, that was cool to see live. And I've been to a handful of them since.
Yeah.
I just saw my first AEW show live in Manchester when they were there in November.
I was there. Yeah, that was a good show. Actually.
Yeah, very good show. I've always watched it. I just like one of those things, and then I got in the business, and then I stopped watching it.
Right.
Because I killed the magic for myself.
Yeah, I would imagine. So I'm actually going to see AEW at the end of the week. This guy that was on the show, Black, he's actually taking me. He got free tickets, and he hit me up and said, hey, I want to take you for all you do for like the New England wrestling. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's nothing better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing better.
Okay, when did you know that wrestling was something you wanted to do?
I was 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Just that?
I've spent my entire life wanting to do the things that make me happy, and the thing that makes me happy is wrestling and riding a motorcycle.
I was going to say, your motorcycle's outside.
Yeah, riding a motorcycle and wrestling are the two things that bring me the most joy right now.
Yeah.
Do I wish I did things a little differently to get into professional wrestling? Yes, absolutely. Do I regret my decisions to get me to where I'm at now? No.
Excellent.
Because everybody's path is different.
Right.
So,
all right. I know you told me this off air, but who trained you?
Stiff Mike.
Stiff Mike.
Stiff Mike was my trainer.
Great guy.
I've done a couple of seminars with Brian Malonis.
Oh, nice.
Rob Vituli, because I was a
I love Rob.
I was a WAW kid.
Yeah, right.
So that was one of those things that Stiff Mike tried to like break me of.
Yeah.
But guys like Alex Jace, Rob Vituli, Rob in particular was really pivotal about my training because he's a bigger guy.
Right.
That's, that's what he wanted. And then outside of that, it's really been kind of on the job experience.
Yeah.
Because you can do all the training in the world.
Right.
There's nothing that's really going to teach you quite like actually doing it.
Right.
So that's kind of where it's been. I've had various people show me things. I've had interactions with Bob Evans where I can, learn from.
Yeah.
Wildman Congo, same thing.
Mike's awesome.
I've been able to pick his brain in the past. Brian Malonis, I've been very thankful to have a few matches with Brian that have given me the opportunity to learn.
Nice. Now, you're probably like the 10th, maybe even the 12th person from WAW. And I'll admit it, I said it before, I really wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah.
But I am so glad that I got to meet her because every single person I've met that was affiliated with WAW has been awesome, man. Great people. Great people.
Some of them?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree.
Right.
Everybody that has been on this show, I can 100% agree with you on.
Right.
There are some that were in the past that are the reason why there's a stigma.
Right. Okay, I got you, yeah.
And that's not to say that they weren't passionate or anything like that. They just, they're part of the stigma.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Right.
Because through WAW, I have been awarded opportunities to be in New England wrestling in probably one of the most lucrative areas in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So, Conway, Delilah, Flax, Frank Bones, Buck.
Who carries 17 forks around with them.
I have been stabbed with those forks.
Oh, I believe it.
There's been a handful of people that since getting out of WAW, there's a core group of us that still carry that banner.
Yep.
Because that's where we're from.
You should too.
And we hope that at the end of the day that we have given a better light than what has been there previously.
Right.
Because we try.
Right.
We try really hard. We have a passion for this that is unparalleled by a lot.
Right.
I feel. And it's one of those moments where, like, when I debuted for the RWA, I had a moment where I went, oh, this is a real thing. Like, this is what it is to be not in Manchester to do this.
Yeah.
And I've had a moment like that in every company I've ever wrestled for where I went, oh, this is what this is like.
Right.
So while it can diminish that flame, you get that moment where you're like, oh, that's why I was doing it.
Right.
And it kind of reignites that flame a little bit.
Excellent. T. Phoenix, great guy.
And
AJP is one of the best young up-and-coming wrestlers around. Shouldn't even say up-and-coming. He's been wrestling since he's probably 4.
So T. Phoenix may be AJP's dad, but T. Phoenix is New England wrestling's dad.
Right.
I have a love and respect for T. Phoenix that is probably unmatched by a lot of people. Outside of the Proving Ground, that guy gave me a lot of opportunities, and I will always look at the RWA like it is my home.
Nice.
I love T. Phoenix. I love AJ.
Yep.
They're both wonderful human beings, and I see all the success that they're having right now, and couldn't happen to better guys.
Nice. I like that. They're both really good guys. Was there anybody else training with you when you were training with Mike?
So it was weird because sometimes it would be people like coming in. We had kid Jake Willett.
Yep, I know Jake.
He was training a lot with us. I don't know their ring names, unfortunately, because there's been enough.
I might know who they are.
There's been enough time between, but it's a set of twins that were WAW.
Okay. Oh, all right.
That sought out more, more. They've both become very, very good.
Awesome.
I think one's Keon.
Keon and Cam.
Yes.
Great people. My nephews are really good friends with them.
Wonderful human beings.
Yes.
Incredibly athletic.
Yeah.
And I went, I'll never be able to keep up. So, I've had a few other people. There was a few other people that were floating around in those training sessions too. And then again, a lot of my training came from WAW, from Rob Vituli, and stuff like that. So any chance I've gotten to have with ring time with Mike had been really beneficial.
Right.
And he still owes me one.
Oh, match?
Oh yeah, he still owes me one.
He's still working for APW, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think the last time I saw him, he's starting to wind down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I already told him,
yeah, you need it.
I need it.
I hear you. That's awesome.
I need it. But yeah, there was a few people. I don't know how many of them are still in the business at this point. Some of them have moved away and have probably continued their careers elsewhere.
Right. Okay.
I hope for the best for them.
Right. Excellent. Now, how about tell us about your first match? Maybe tell us like the WAW one, and then, you know what I mean? And when you were booked somewhere else.
That first match, WAW for me, was a crapshoot. Because I had been in training with one other person.
Yeah.
And he did not wrestle with shoes on. He was a martial arts kid.
Yeah.
He lasted all of maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was there consistently I was wrestling every weekend for like 5 years straight. I have put my body through some treacherous things for the entertainment of other people. So that match was just god awful. And it's not for a lack of trying, but when you're green, you're green.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever came on here and said, I had a 5-star match, so don't worry about it.
If they did, they're lying.
Exactly.
The first time I got booked for APW was the Gil Bonk Memorial Battle.
Oh, nice.
I actually had shown up there with no intentions on being on the show.
Right.
I had shown up there to do the Brian Malonis seminar.
Oh, okay.
Had Coach Hollow in there as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, I did well enough that they offered me a slot on the Gil Bonk.
Oh, nice.
But then also gave myself and Derek Simonetti a 5-minute dark match.
Oh, that's awesome.
So my official in-ring debut for APW was against somebody that I have gotten the greatest hits with, quite literally.
Right.
RWA, I replaced Derek Simonetti in a tag team match with Tim Davidson against the Wild Hammers. Devin Baker and I can't remember his tag partner's name. That was the first 2 shows I did for RWA was against those guys.
Yeah.
PG, I couldn't tell you because I have no recollection.
Right.
If we're talking back in the studio tapings, it was Conway, and it was atrocious. But if we're talking we're talking live, I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Just because there's been a lot.
Right.
I've done a lot, and I've had a lot of concussions.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you must know, because Todd's been on so many times. I love Todd. I think he's awesome. Great guy. And his company is it's gone up and up and up.
Alec Price said it right. Proving Ground is New England's hidden gem.
Yes.
And the more we do, the more I can look at that statement and be like, yeah, absolutely. As somebody that's been there pretty much since the inception of Proving Ground, I can sit there and say, yeah, we've become a destination promotion for a lot of guys in the area and from outside of the area. Because Todd's got great production value.
Yep.
And he knows how to book a show.
Right.
He knows how to make it work for everybody. The show flows usually very nicely.
Right.
And I've been very, very fortunate to have been a part of that.
Nice. Now, I would say they're no longer a hidden gem, though, right? Wouldn't you think? Because, I mean, they really, I mean, I don't want to make it seem like they were down low. They're good company, but Todd's really been building it up.
I would still think that we're probably the hidden gem.
Yeah.
Because you still have Chaotic Wrestling, who we've been able to be fortunate enough to do a little bit of work with Chase Del Monte versus Stephen Lust.
Yeah.
You've got Beyond Wrestling in the area. You've got Rad Pro Wrestling. You've got WFA. There's so much in the area that we are still, I think we still fly a little bit under the radar. And that's okay.
Right.
Because it's a good place to get a lot of exposure really quickly.
Now, I went to Chaotic Cold Fury I think it was last weekend.
I think so.
Unbelievable show. The production was incredible.
Yep.
Incredible. They have like a Titantron now.
Oh, it's huge.
Every match, they did a trailer before the match. And that was the first time I've been there in a couple of years.
I wish I went to that show.
It was good.
I had other stuff going on, so I wasn't able to go.
Right.
But, big ups to Mortar.
It was a great match, man.
That dude works.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Works his butt off.
He's the new APW champ, too, right?
Yes, I did see that.
So he's a dual champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Very. Another one of those guys that if I ever get the opportunity to work with, I'm there to learn.
Right.
Because there's nothing that I'm going to be able to say that's going to teach him anything.
Right.
It's the other way around. And that's how I kind of look at wrestling in general. If I go in there going, I know everything, I'm wrong.
Right.
I got to look at every opportunity that I'm given as a way to learn.
Right. So, I mean, you could learn from a guy that's only been in the business 4 months. And that's what guys that have been in the business for years even say it.
Yeah.
They easily could learn.
Guys like Anthony Green, if I have been able to share a couple of locker rooms with him.
He's incredible.
If I was given the opportunity to wrestle Anthony Green, the amount of knowledge that guy carries.
Yeah.
He's easily New England's Chris Hero.
Right.
Where he's just an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody that loves wrestling more than Anthony Green. Some can love it as much, but no one loves it more. No one.
It's not. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah. He's a great, great guy.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
All right. Let's get right into the fan question. We got quite a few. Dan Ruckus, what is the most unexpected thing that has happened to you in a match?
The fact that I'm about to say this on your show is a little bit of an embarrassment for me. My second match with Brian Malonis, I had ordered.
I know where you're going with this.
I had ordered like custom gear.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when I ordered it, I wasn't sure how it was going to fit, so I ordered a little bit larger than I would have normally done so.
Right.
In that match, I lifted a chair over my head and thinned myself out too much, where the pants actually dropped down to my knees. That might be the most unexpected thing that's ever happened to me in a match.
I thought you were gonna say you pooped because a lot of people have.
No. I have. So I have never evacuated my bowels.
Right.
But a lot of that is call it superstition, call it whatever you want. I do not eat before a show. No way.
Probably a smart move.
Because I don't want to vomit.
Right.
Because I get
nervous.
I get nervous up until the music hits. Once the music hits, it's over. But that's also how I know I'm about to have a really good match.
Right.
Because I'm nervous. I want to be able to perform well. And
Yeah.
the music hits, that mentality goes into place, and then I find myself performing much better than I anticipated.
Nice. And like you said, though, right? Once the match starts, the jitters go away,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. If they don't,
Right.
that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a problem. If
Right.
the jitters don't go away, that's a problem.
Right. Okay, so he's got a couple more from Dan Ruckus. Who's next? Goldberg?
No thanks.
Yeah, you don't want a concussion from him.
No. And I'm not even a Bret Hart guy. Owen was better. Goldberg has never done anything for me.
Right, me either. Me either.
That's a WCW kid talking.
Right.
I don't care. Whoever's next is whoever they decide that they want to put me in a ring against, I guess.
All right. Godzilla or King Kong?
Godzilla.
Yeah?
Godzilla.
Okay. I used to watch a lot of those Godzilla movies right after wrestling back in the 70s.
They called me the king of the monsters for a reason.
Right.
Godzilla's always been the thing. Both are great. Both are fine.
Yeah.
But Godzilla is way better.
All right. Awesome. Mike Medina. Congo.
Wild Man Congo.
We never got that match, homie. But what do you think is the biggest eye-opener since getting involved in professional wrestling? Thanks, Congo.
Well, first of all, Congo, get better.
Yes.
Because when you're better, we are going to have that one-on-one.
Right.
Another person that I cannot wait to learn from. I've had very little bit of interactions with him. I want that in-ring interaction with him. How politically charged it is. There's so much backstage politicking that it was eye-opening. It's very cliquey, and I'm not cliquey. Right. I tend to find myself by myself in a corner somewhere. I have to put myself in a headspace that is not pleasant.
Yeah.
And I don't want to suck anybody else into that.
Right. Well, it's funny. Sonny, you know Sonny Goodspeed?
Yep.
Now, Sonny even said that's one guy, if he were to come out of retirement, that's who he wants to wrestle, Congo.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing. Great match. And you're right. Mike, hope you get better soon. All right. Actually, Todd Graham does have more than one question.
Of course he does.
Favorite opponents?
This could be a long list.
Okay.
But I'm going to try not to keep it super long. Todd is number one on that list.
Okay.
He and I have what we call the greatest hits. We could have a 2-minute match put together out of the probably close to 6 hours worth of match time that he and I have put in against each other. We can put a 2-minute classic together based solely on what we know works.
Right.
And what works is trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
He and I tell really, really good stories together because we feed off of each other very well.
Right.
There's some guys you have the best chemistry in the world
Yes.
with. He is one of those guys that I have probably the best chemistry with. The other would be Shay Cash. There was a stretch for like 6 or 7 months where that guy and I were married together in every promotion we were wrestling in.
Nice.
And it got to a point where it was like we got to a show and he's like, we gotta work a little lighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crowd. We go through the
heavy hitter.
The crowd starts going, and then we started wailing on each other because that's what they really want to see. They want to see two big guys kill each other. Julio Cruz and Victor Chase.
Yep.
Brick City Boys. I've had the opportunity to wrestle them once before. Definitely want to do that again.
Right. Hell of a team.
Oh,
Hell of a team.
so good. And the beauty of that particular match is we were able to tell a story about one-upsmanship.
Right.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sometimes all you need. Freaking Flax is another one of those guys that great chemistry with.
Yeah.
A couple of names that you probably haven't heard on this show yet. Troy Garbo, one of the first guys in WAW I feuded with.
Okay.
Big 80s wrestling guy. So he knew how to work the big guy.
Right.
You know, he knew how to work that style. And that was fairly early on in my career with him.
Okay.
And another name, Chris Shady.
Okay.
That guy brought out the best in me every time he and I have ever stepped foot across from each other. Sometimes they say, you know, that good friends make better enemies.
Yes.
That is absolutely 100% true, because anytime he and I have ever stepped across from each other, the intent was to hurt.
Right.
When you can bring out that kind of emotion in people, I think that's what works the best. And that's just to name a handful of guys.
Right.
Dick Lane, Tom Billington, Sean Leader, Delilah.
Right.
I've never worked Joey Warner. Oh, that's a lie. I've worked Joey Warner once, but I would do it again. There's a long list of guys that I could say, yeah, let's do it, because it's just. But number one would absolutely be Todd.
So let me ask you, who was your tag team partner when you took on the Brick City?
Derek Conway.
Oh, Derek Conway. All right.
So I've been in a few tag teams over my career.
Yeah.
All of them have failed.
Okay.
Not for a lack of trying. This is mine and Conway's second go around. I could not ask for a better friend in professional wrestling. That kid's probably my best friend.
Nice.
And has been for a very long time.
He's a great kid.
Especially in this business. He and I just spent the last year in some change as the Proving Ground Tag Team Champions.
Right.
So it's one of those situations where, like, right now he's my tag partner. Like, I wouldn't want another tag partner right now, but Tim Davidson was a tag partner of mine at one point. A kid by the name of Eva Lee was a tag partner of mine. I've been in thrown together tag teams. It was like, ooh, what are we doing here?
Right.
But yeah, against the Brick City Boys, it was Conway, and I absolutely 100% want to do that again.
Nice. He's a great kid too. He really is. Linda Zulo?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you get into wrestling? And you are awesome. That's what she says.
Well, again, wrestling started for me at 5.
Right.
Like, that's just, my mom was flipping through the channels, told me to stop. I saw somebody in face paint, and Halloween's my favorite day of the year. My mom had to backtrack, and then there it was. Yeah. It slowly grew into, like, Thursdays. I couldn't wait for Thursday night.
Right.
My mom was taping Nitro for me every week, so that way I'd be able to watch Nitro as well when I'd go to her house. So it's just one of those situations where it's my mom is kind of the driving force as to why I got into wrestling, and there's been a couple of moments where she's been highlighted for that. At PG in particular, when my mom moved, my mom got brought into the ring so that way Todd could give her the recognition she deserved.
That's awesome.
So
that is really cool. All right. Dave Delafontaine. Dave Destro. What are some of your future goals? Great question.
I would like to go to Canada to wrestle at least once. Deathmatch tournament. I'm looking at you, Chad. I would love to do the deathmatch thing. It's one of my guiltiest pleasures. In pro wrestling. I've said that to DJ Hyde to his face. I did not care. Realistically, I'd like to continue to travel and wrestle more and do it as a tag team with Conway because he and I have good working chemistry like that.
Nice.
So that's, if we didn't succeed anywhere else, we got to get out there a little bit more. That's the only thing I cared about.
Nice. I might be able to help you into that deathmatch thing. We'll talk after. Sean Lloyd, do you think Dennis is proud of you? He must be. And this Conway, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say.
So I would like to think that he is.
Right.
But I can never tell.
Right.
but again, that kid's my best friend in wrestling. Like,
he's proud.
Like the work that he and I have put in the last year alone.
Right.
Like I'm proud of him. I would like to think that that's reciprocal.
Yeah, I think it is. I really do. Buck, Dan Elwell.
I'm in one chair, Buck.
How many chairs do you currently sit? He's only sitting in one. You don't have any forks on you, do you?
No.
All right.
No.
He was pulling them out left and right.
Of course he was. And I'm just glad this had nothing to do with Barry Ace.
Ah, yes. Did you like that one, though? I said, hey, we're going to talk about Barry. Sorry, we're out of time. I got a kick out of that. All right. Steven Russo, one of the Juckets.
Yep.
And when are we going riding?
All you have to do is ask.
Yeah. He's another good guy.
Oh yeah, he somebody that through WAW.
Yeah.
He and I connected with and through RWA and things like that. So one of these days, Steve, we're gonna ride.
Nice.
We'll do it.
All right. Richard Knight, also known as Reggie. All right. Why do you hit so hard, bud? I couldn't feel the left side of my jaw for a week.
He knows darn well why I hit so hard. I'm not unsafe. I lay it in.
Right.
I'm snug.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that.
The thing is, through WAW, through RWA, I have been paired with guys that, like, you got to hit them.
Right.
That's what takes me. T. Phoenix.
Lays it in?
I have never been hit so hard in my life.
Really?
He hit me one night at RW. It was Legacy with the old Chop Shop too. He hit me so hard one time with a forearm. I was like, I'm gonna go take a nap over in that corner.
Right.
Like, I thought Shay Cash hit hard. No.
Really?
Yeah. No. I mean, and Shay is no slouch.
Right.
But T Phoenix is probably the hardest I've ever been hit in a wrestling ring. And I can't thank him enough for it because it made me better.
Right.
It made me really lay that stuff in.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of, you got to hit me. You have to.
Right.
You got to make the contact because if you're not making contact with me, it looks stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are in an area where it's such an intimate venue that the fan base is so close to what you're doing that you can't risk not making the contact. You can't risk it.
Right.
So I don't risk it, and I just hit you. And that's just how it's been.
Okay. And he has another one. He says, real question. You're a dog lover. So tell us a little about what dogs mean to you in your life. And if money, time, and space weren't factors, how many dogs would you like to have? I'm a dog lover too.
So dogs are kind of the only being that gives you unconditional love regardless.
Yeah.
Does not matter. As humans, we do not deserve them.
Right.
That's what they mean to me.
Nice.
As far as how many would I own? I just need one.
Yeah, there you go.
If I could save all of them, I would. It's not feasible. I get the other portions. If none of this was a factor, I only need the one.
Right.
That's all I need. One.
Well, Chad Epic's been doing great work with them.
And
great work.
I know Chad gets looked at poorly by a lot of people.
It's too bad because I don't think he deserves it.
No, I don't think he does either.
I think he's a great guy.
Chad is a big part of the three names that are pivotal to me in my career: Todd Graham, Chad Epic, and T Phoenix.
Nice.
Those are the three guys that have given me the most opportunities outside of WAW. And if anybody's going to crap on any of them, they're mistaken.
Right. No, absolutely. And I don't know if you saw the episode when he was just here, Chad.
Yeah.
And I loved, he nailed that question.
Oh, yep.
Didn't he?
Yes.
Nailed it. I was so proud of him. I really was.
Absolutely.
Because he's a real good guy. And like I said on air, there's no way he went backstage to try to get other people not to have work. He was there for himself. And he admitted he did it the wrong way.
He showed accountability.
Exactly.
That's something that we don't have. There's not a lot of that in wrestling, and it's disgusting. People not taking accountability for things.
Right.
The fact that he took the accountability and said, "No, I really screwed that one up."
Yeah. Great answer, though. He really did.
I think the people that are still harping on him on that really need to take a step back and reevaluate the things that they were looking at and go, okay, this is somebody that took the accountability for what he did, knows he did wrong. It hasn't stopped local talent from getting extra work.
Right.
That AEW show in Manchester, there were names on that show through the Ring of Honor and things like that I went, oh, cool. That's somebody that I know wrestles for Chaotic.
Right.
That's somebody that wrestles for Live Pro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I commend Chad for taking the accountability thing.
And I do want to mention that last week when I had Chad on 2 weeks ago that I said the wrong. It's Live Pro Wrestling, not Pro Wrestling Live. Teddy Good's promotion, where he's killing it as a promoter.
Oh yeah,
killing it.
And he's got the kick-ass toy store.
Yeah. I haven't been there. I'd like to go there, though.
I can't go there because I will spend all of my money.
Right.
Not that I have a lot of it to spend anyways, because I have other expensive hobbies. But, yeah, I hope that the people that aren't sitting at my table are still sitting at a table and making and being able to eat and flourish.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Todd Graham's back. Tell him about how you tattooed my face.
Okay. So this is, I'm pretty sure the match we were having was a last man standing match. It was one of those joint operations that we did with APW for Haverhill Kids Fest or Yankee Homecoming, one of those outdoor shows. And he and I were working, and I'm working him down. He goes, run off the ropes, kick me in the face. Okay. I do it without thinking. Hit the ropes, put my foot up to kick him. It hurt me.
Really?
That's how I went, oh, I just kicked him in the face, and I kicked him hard because it hurt me.
Right.
And of course, APW's ring was that vinyl that had been sitting out in the sunlight. So black vinyl in the sunlight, you sizzle.
Yeah.
I kicked him in the face, put his face down, get through the match. I look at him. There's an imprint. Very Mike Tyson-esque right here of the toe of my boot.
Wow.
I felt terrible about it. And that's part of the reason why he's one of my favorite opponents, because we do things like that for the entertainment of others.
Nice. All right. Paul Andrew, Pollywood.
Oh, God, Pollywood.
Tell us about the transition and differences from WAW compared to the more recognized feds in New England. So I guess RWA and PG and any other companies you work for.
The thing that I've noticed that's big different is how it's constructed. WAW is very ebb and flow.
Okay.
There was structure to it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like we were in the same building every time.
Right.
So before it was in Gloucester, it was at Murphy's Bare Knuckle Gym in Manchester, where we had the gym from like 5 o'clock or something like that at night until whenever we were done.
Oh, cool.
So we had shows that were very, very long that just, you can't do that on the independent scene. Like those shows were so long, like we'd be leaving, it'd be like 12:30.
Yeah. No, that's a long show.
That's a long show. Then you have places like RWA where everything is like, keep it to your time.
Right.
Stick to your time.
Yep.
Much shorter match, much shorter cards, things like that. Those are the big differences that I've noticed. It's a lot of similarities as well, as far as like the backstage aspect of it, where you get the camaraderie in your backstage. It's one of those things that like not everybody's realized that. Like WAW was very much similar in a lot of ways.
Okay.
To a lot of what's going on. The big difference is, RWA, PG, we're renting a building.
Right.
We have to be out by a certain time in a lot of cases. So things have to move a little bit faster.
Right.
So
More structure, like
yeah,
you said.
it's way more structured in how to get it taken care of.
Okay, he has one more. After all the up and downs, what is the core values that keep Kevin Gyles in pro wrestling? This is another great question, Paul.
I have an addiction to it. I don't drink a lot.
Right.
I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
This is the closest thing to an addiction that I have. Like, I spent a long time away from it, and it hurt.
Really?
To go, and then I went back and was like, okay, I gotta keep doing this. I spent 5 years just about working every weekend.
Yeah.
And putting my body through the ringer in a boxing ring and, those things. Then I moved on to the RWA where I was taking bumps on like a real ring, but also on a concrete floor. So it's an addiction. It's not, there's no real core value that keeps me here. It's that, if I stop, I'm going to fall apart.
All right. How long did you stop wrestling for? I didn't know.
So, at the end of 2019, going into 2020, right when the pandemic hit.
Right.
My last show would have been that February of 2020, then the pandemic hit.
Right.
And then nobody was doing anything.
Right. Pandemic hit in March, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure March something.
Yeah. Wrestling got shut down as a whole. So I went, oh, cool, I can take this as a time to kind of just let the nagging things get better. Didn't work. And then I came back in 2021. I went to Maine to wrestle.
For Let's Wrestle?
I wish. It was Vacation Land Pro.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I was in a 6-man tag match. It was me, Stephen Broad, and JP O'Reilly, managed by Chad.
Yeah.
Versus Lights Out, Lee Miller, and I don't remember the other two.
That's all right.
And I got hit with a chair that I wasn't expecting, and it was on a concrete floor.
Right.
So it really shook my body up a bit. And then shortly after that, I was back in RWA a little bit to get rid of, back in RWA.
Right.
And that kind of went through basically until the end of 2022, 2023 rolled around. I was gone again for a little while, but it's because there was no creative plans. And then Dennis and I became a tag team again at the end of 2023, but that had been in the works since the beginning of 2023.
Okay.
So it was just getting there.
Yeah.
And that's okay because my summers get really full really fast.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have a little bit of a reprieve after consistently putting myself through the ringer.
Right.
So I wouldn't call it a departure as much. It was like, hey, I'm going to take this I'm going to take this lack of creative and take a rest.
Well, that's good because when you said you walked away, I figured it was a lot longer.
No.
You took a little break.
Isana's done it. The BC Kid's done it, where they have stepped away for long periods of time.
Right.
I personally don't think I could do that. I think it would be difficult for me to take that kind of time away and then try to come back. Because I'll have gotten comfortable with not putting myself through the ringer, which is why I'm glad that I'm in a tag team match, because I don't have to take all the abuse.
Right. I signed someone I'd like to get on the show down the line, for sure. All right, Cody Smith, you've been wrestling for a long time. What is it that keeps you going year after year? I think
it's the addiction portion of it.
I was going to say, you already answered that kind of. Felicia Rose Ellison, when is your next show that you will be on?
Whenever
she wants to go?
Whenever I'm booked.
Okay.
Even if I'm not booked. I don't remember the date in May, but May Madness Proven Grounds, definitely a show that you should be checked out.
Excellent. Thank you, Felicia. Dan Picard, will you be the bouncer at my wedding?
Sure.
I don't think bouncers are really needed at weddings. Everybody's happy.
Except his wedding's a Halloween themed wedding.
Oh,
so they're
okay,
all
all right.
dressed up.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm like, okay.
All right. Freight Train, Matthew McGee. Past or present, what would be your top 3 opponents if you could fantasy book the matches?
As a singles wrestler, Sting,
Yep.
PCO,
Yep.
because I feel like the first of all, Sting would be somebody that
Right.
childhood hero, idolized.
Yeah.
PCO, guy's still running, and I could learn so much from that guy.
Oh, no doubt.
It's not even funny, and you could throw in Undertaker, you could throw in any of those guys, but I would wrestle Brian Malonis again.
Nice.
As a tag team,
Yeah.
the Bouncers.
Nice.
I still want to get that match with the Patiri that we were supposed to have.
Yeah.
When we had to end up wrestling the Brick City Boys.
At APW, right?
No, it was a
PG?
kind of. We were a showcase match. We put on it was like an autism awareness
Right.
like fundraiser show at the Newton Elks Lodge
Okay.
that Delilah put on, and we were supposed to. Dennis and I were supposed to defend against the Batiri.
Right.
They got a phone call, and we were like, no, go do that. That's the one that you should do.
Right.
And I had been sweating bullets leading up to that point because I was like, I'm not ready for that.
They're a good team. They really are.
Hollow Wicked and Frightmare.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to the singles, Ultramantis Black. I would love to wrestle Ultramantis.
Right.
But yeah, that would be kind of where I'm at with that.
Excellent. All right. That's it, I think, for fan. Yeah. Wow. We're actually gonna play the name game. Nowhere to lie. It took like four times of Todd being on the show before we finally got to the name game. We actually did a whole episode with just the name game. All right. The Hoods.
Love them to death. The opportunities that I've had to be able to wrestle them with Conway. We looked up to them when they were wrestling and Beyond. They were a bucket list item.
Right.
And we got to achieve that. We in the multiple variations of the Hoods. It was good to be able to wrestle Pyro and Davey, Shay and Davey,
Right.
Cassius and Davey. So we've been very, very fortunate, and I love them all to death.
Nice. Excellent. All right. How about Hard Work Heroes? Aaron and Barnaby.
The little one's fun to throw around.
It's a good kid, too.
I have enjoyed they're a good presence in the locker room. They're good people. I've only worked with them once.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Excellent. All right. How about the Riot, Kellen Thomas?
I want to work. Kellen so bad.
Right.
Kellen actually gave me a bit of advice when I started at RWA to get out of something specific that I was wearing. And he was like, the only reason why I'm saying this, and he sent me an image. I was like, oh, okay, now I see why he's saying it. So, Kellen was also one of those guys that was pivotal outside of WAW for me.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely love to get in the ring with Kellen Thomas.
Nice, and he's really good. How about Elle Valentine?
The new thing?
Yeah.
She scares me.
Yeah.
She scares me.
She's good.
She's very good. She scares me.
All right. How about Frank Bones? Good dude.
I love Frankie. And I'm sure that this is all breaking of the fourth wall and stuff. But I love Frankie. Frankie's a good dude. You want to talk about passion for this business? That's a guy that's got passion for this business.
And music now, too.
Oh, yeah.
He really does, man.
Not for me.
Right.
That genre
Yeah,
of
I'm not
music
a rap guy
It's
either.
not for me.
Right.
But him, Bollywood, Greedy, Flax,
Yep.
by all means,
Right.
do your thing, man.
Wish him the best.
Right.
Absolutely. All right. How about the Dirt City Murder Crew? We'll start off with Jason Devine.
I love Jason. I love Ricky. I've had a tag team match against them. I had Ricky up in a Samoan drop. Jason had Tim Davidson in a air raid crash on the apron, said, put my friend down. I said, okay. I hit the Samoan drop, and I heard this noise from behind me, and it was Jason Devine killing my tag partner on the apron.
Nice.
So, good. Both of them, wonderful human beings.
The Ace, Mike Montero.
There's a reason why they call him the Ace.
No doubt.
I have been fortunate to share a ring with him on a couple of different occasions, and he's the real deal.
Yeah.
I have been very fortunate to have that opportunity, and when he's better, I hope to get that opportunity again. He is the bar. In independent wrestling in New England, he's the guy. He's the gatekeeper for a reason. He's the ace.
And it's weird. I didn't realize he was a 17-year vet when I had him here.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, wow, because he doesn't look like he's old enough to be
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Super talented.
Yeah, very talented. All right, how about Stephen Lust? He's from Lowell. I love him.
I love Stephen Lust, and I love Stephen Broad.
Yeah, me too.
Again, guys that I've got wonderful chemistry with.
Right.
I'd give anything to have matches with them just for fun.
Nice. All right, how about you brought him up a little bit earlier, Tommy Billington.
I love Tom. My first interaction with Tom, like, it was me and Conway versus the Epidemic, which would have been Tom Billington and Sean Leader at the time. Like, oh, we're gonna hit you. They were the lightest guys I've ever worked with.
Really?
All of that hype for nothing, and then I wrestled T Phoenix and went, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, this is stiff. All right, how about the Bakers? Devin, David, and Teach Brickhouse. He's not my teacher, but he's a teacher to a lot of people.
Teach is pivotal in New England wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Him and Jose Garcia are probably like staples at this point that people don't never really get to understand.
Right.
Nothing but love and respect for Teach. Nothing but love and respect for both David and Devin. I've only ever had to work David once. Thank God.
He's the mean one anyways. That's what everybody says.
And Devin's always available.
Listen, we only got a little bit left. Is there anything you want to plug? You said you had a show for, was it Proving Ground?
Proving Ground's got a show in May, May Madness. The one thing I am going to plug that I personally have no connection to is the GoFundMe for Carlos V.
Yes.
I
don't
know him, but he's got a lot of
friends.
A lot of friends in the industry that are hurt.
Very hurt.
So if we can, I'd like to see people try to contribute there if they can.
Awesome, Kevin. Thanks for coming on. We'll do this again, dude. We didn't even get very far in the name game.
So many.
This is a lot of fun, though.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're out. Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.